Hi and welcome to a new tutorial on my channel. Today we're making this beautiful heart pillow. As you can see, it's asymmetrical, but that's because I made it this way. If you want a symmetrical heart, this is not the tutorial for you, but if you like this shape and this size, then you can get the pattern for free on my blog, or you can download a print-friendly PDF. I will be working from the printed pattern here, and I will show you all the steps to make this beautiful heart. For this project you will need about 50 grams of this kind of chenille yarn. This comes in 100 gram balls that have 120 meters in length, so you'll need about 60 meters or 50 grams for one pillow. So you can make two from one ball. You also need a 4.5 or 5 millimeter hook depending on your tension, a pair of scissors, and a tapestry needle for finishing off the pillow. For this tutorial, I will use this yarn because it's brighter and the camera is friendlier with lightly colored yarns. We begin with the magic ring, so we make a loop, the tail is on the top. We insert the hook through the loop and then pick up a loop, chain one, and make one single crochet in this magic ring, and then 6 more single crochets. I forgot to mention that I will use the yarn under yarn over technique for the single crochets in this pattern. So to make a yarn under, you put the yarn under the hook instead of yarning over, and then you do the regular yarn over. This will create a nice X pattern on the surface of the heart when you're finished. I have 3 more single crochets to do, and now there are 7. Now we pull on the tail to close the magic ring. With this kind of yarn you have to be careful to not break it while pulling on the tail. And I will not join to the first stitch, but I will continue working in a spiral just like for amigurumi. If you use stitch markers, put the stitch marker in the first stitch of the next row. The next row has 2 single crochet stitches in each stitch around. That's row 2 finished, and we have 14 stitches per row now. On the next row, the pattern is 1 single crochet, 1 increase, which means that we will have 21 stitches at the end. So 1 single crochet, now you can put the marker here, and 1 increase means 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch. So that's the first repeat. That's the second, and we continue like this around. Row 3 is complete. Row 4 has 2 single crochet stitches and 1 increase, or you can do 1 single crochet stitch, 1 increase, 1 single crochet stitch to stagger the increases. Since we won't have so many increases, it doesn't really matter where you have these increases because we will stop increasing on the next row. As you can see, if you don't stagger the increases, you will have these points, but we will stop increasing now, and we continue with 4 rows of 1 single crochet in each stitch. This is 1 row finished, and you continue like this 3 more rows, or if you want this section to be shorter, you can just make 3 rows instead of 4. I will come back when I finish the extra 3 rows. This cup is finished, so we just cut off the yarn and pull the end through. First make a slip stitch here and then cut off the yarn. You don't need to leave a long tail, and then pull the end through. We set this aside and we will work with it when the big cup is finished to continue the body. Now we begin the second cup, the larger one, and this one has a slightly different pattern. We chain 1 in the magic ring and 1 single crochet and then 8 more. Then pull on the tail to close the magic ring carefully. And start the pattern. We have 2 single crochet stitches in each stitch around this first row without joining the rows. We work in a spiral. So that's one. You can put the marker in here. Row 2 is done, and row 3 will have 1 single crochet in each of the stitches around. That's 18. This extra row is to prevent the puckering that would happen if we were to increase too much too early. Row 4 has 1 single crochet stitch, 1 increase all the way around to the end of the row. 1 single crochet, 1 increase, and we continue like this around. Now row 4 is finished and we have 27 stitches. And the next row is also a row of increases. We have 2 single crochet stitches and 1 increase, or we can do 1 single crochet stitch, 1 increase, 1 single crochet stitch. It's your choice how you count them. Now row 5 is finished and we continue with 5 rows of 1 single crochet stitch in each of the stitches around, and I will skip this and meet you again when that part is finished. Now the 5 rows are finished and the large cup as well, and I will show you how to unite them. So first we have a single crochet stitch in the next stitch in the large cup and the first stitch of the new row in the small cup. So we skip the one where we slip stitch and put the hook through the next stitch. This will transfer the yarn to the small cup. And finish the single crochet stitch. Now we make 24 stitches in the small cup, going around like this until we reach back to this intersection here. I've reached around and now I will work in 1 stitch from the small cup, 1 stitch from the large cup to unite them here like this. I count from this join 4 stitches on the large cup and we have 4 stitches here in the small cup, so we put the hook through both of them, and these stitches will be on the inside from now on, so they will not be visible from the outside. This is what you will see from the outside. It's a nice join. So now we chain 1 and then slip stitch back. Then we continue with single crochet stitches in the large cup until we reach the first stitch of this row. There should be 55 single crochet stitches when you count only on the outside. So we reached back to the first common stitch here for the 2 pieces, and I will just count my stitches just to be sure. Okay, so I have 56, which means that I will make an extra decrease on the next row, not a problem. The point of having 55 stitches is because all the decreases are calculated to give you a kind of seam here. It's not a seam, but this is where the decreases happen on both sides. So if you don't have 55, make sure you do on the next row, which only consists of single crochets worked around both cups. So to make this invisible decrease, in case you need it, you put the hook behind the front loop of the first stitch and then behind the front loop of the next stitch, pick up a loop and finish the stitch. So I will work single crochet stitches around this row and come back to you when that's finished. This was row 12 from the pattern, and the next row starts with a decrease, an invisible decrease. Then we have 21 single crochet stitches. After that we have another decrease. Then 13 single crochet stitches. One decrease. 13 more single crochet stitches. And finally one more decrease, which brings the total of stitches on this row to 51. On row 14 we have 10 single crochet stitches. Then we have a decrease. Then 10 more single crochet stitches. Then one more decrease. Then 25 single crochet stitches, and lastly one decrease. This is the last decrease. And the stitch count for this row should give 48 stitches. For row 15 we have 21 single crochet stitches. Then we have a decrease. Then 11 single crochet stitches. Then another decrease. Then 10 single crochet stitches. And one last decrease. And at the end of the row you should have 45 stitches around. Row 16 we make 5 single crochet stitches. Then we have a decrease. Then we have 3 single crochet stitches, decrease, another 3, single crochet stitches, decrease, and 3 single crochet stitches and decrease. Now we have 4 single crochet stitches, a decrease, and then 5 single crochet stitches, another decrease, now 4 single crochet stitches, a decrease, and 2 single crochet stitches and the last decrease. At the end of this row you should have 37 stitches around. Row 17, we have 1 decrease, then 14 single crochet stitches, then we have 2 decreases, that's 1 and the second decrease here, then we have 8 single crochet stitches, one decrease, and 7 single crochet stitches. At the end of this row you should have 33 stitches around. Next row, row 18, we start with a decrease, then we have 5 single crochet stitches, then 1 more decrease, then 6 single crochet stitches, one decrease, and 16 single crochet stitches. At the end of this row you should have 30 stitches and you can start stuffing. First we draw up a loop here to make sure that we don't use the stitch, and then fluff up the stuffing and just put it in. You don't care about those yarn ends because they will not slip out, they will not be visible. You want to stuff well enough that even after some time goes by the pillow will not become deflated. For now this will do, but I will stuff it more in the future. Now we continue decreasing. We will have an even decrease now, so we repeat a decrease and 4 single crochet stitches all around. That's the decrease and 4 single crochet stitches. Now you should have 25 stitches around, and the next round is the same except we have 1 decrease and 3 single crochet stitches repeated around. So 1 decrease, 3 single crochet stitches, now row 20 is finished. You should have 20 stitches, and the next row we make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches around. That's 20 stitches. And in the next row we decrease once more. We have 1 decrease and then 2 single crochet stitches and so on. Now I should have 15 stitches on this row, and we have 1 more decrease. We make 1 decrease and 1 single crochet stitch. Now there are 10 stitches, and you should fill up the rest of the heart right now. When you're done stuffing, the toy should be firm but also springy or soft like this when you squeeze it. It should not be extremely soft, so it should not collapse when you do this. So I believe this is stuffed well enough, and we can finish up and do the last decrease in the final row. On the final row you decrease 5 times. Then you leave a tail and cut it and pull through. Using the tapestry needle, you go through the front loops of all of these stitches from outside towards the inside. And pull on the yarn to close it up into a point. And now you can weave in the end. You want to weave in only in the stitches, not through the filling. Weave back and forth 3 times and cut off the excess. Now knead it a bit to distribute the filling, and the heart is finished. Now the heart pillow is finished, and you can see that there is a difference between these two because I used the yarn under yarn over technique for the new one, so it's a bit firmer. This one was also probably made with a slightly larger hook, but I recommend using the smaller hook for a tighter fabric. Now if you want to, you can embroider some messages on it, like those candy that you can get for Valentine's, or you can just gift it away like this, or you can embroider eyes or whatever you want. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you'll make many hearts for your loved ones, and even people you don't love that much but who would use a bit of love. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to know when I publish more videos, please subscribe to my channel or to my emails. You can do both. If you subscribe to my emails, you will get a free pattern. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!